So if you're listening to this, I'm giving you a gold nugget right now on how to get people in the door. You got to build a lifestyle. You got to build a culture, and you got to build a lifestyle that makes people want to come and work for you. And it's got to look fun. And if it looks fun, they're going to come and do it, and they're going to come and learn it, because this Generation Z, loves to learn. And they want to learn on the job. They want to learn like on something right in front of them.
From Sarah Systems and Billy Go, this is No BS with Billy Stevens and Landon Brewer, the unfiltered, straight-shooting podcast that dives deep into the heart of home service trades to uncover the truth about running your business. You're entering the No BS zone with Billy and Landon.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the No BS with Billy and Landon show. We're very happy to have you here today. We've got a great topic that we're going to talk about, how Gen Z can help transform your business to the next level. They're looking to go to work for us now instead of going to college. This is going to be a great subject today. How are you doing, Landon?
Good, man. Good. I'm just sitting here updating my dating profile to look for that Gen Z preferred attractive traits in a person. Is that what we're talking about? Trying to find my next ex-wife or what?
Absolutely. Since she's standing there in the room with you, what's she thinking the time it is on this?
She's saying, "Hurry up, hurry up."
Yeah. So yes. So we're pretty sure who's going to end up better off in this deal.
Oh, no, for sure.
Yeah. Right. Well, awesome. Yeah. Gen Z, man. Gosh. What's going on with these folks? They are really tearing up the trades. I mean, I'm seeing it here. Billy Go, we have such young employees here. It's great. I would say 90% of our company is under 40. Very, very young. A lot of 20-year-olds, a lot of first time in the trades, ready to get after it. Heck, we have female technicians, and plumber. As a matter of fact, young, probably early 20s, already has a license. I mean, things are changing. What are you hearing about all this?
Oh, by the end of the decade, just sheer numbers, right? They're going to make up a majority of the workforce.
Yeah, that alone is something we need to be paying attention to, and we need to open our eyes to these folks that normally we didn't expect to come work for us. And it's going to take a change in their business. I mean, we're going to really have to make some changes to satisfy these folks. They're technology-based people, and they want to use technology to do their jobs. You can't mess around with what we got out there, from the past.
I mean, whether they're growing up different than we grew up, right? Than even like millennials grew up, or any of these other generations. They're growing up with technology already embedded in their brain from day one, right? So. It's really interesting to watch. And like, there was a tendency as you get older to view the subsequent generations as maybe kind of like lazy, not as hardworking, just, having weird requirements and different. But I think, Gen Z that's coming up, polar opposite. I think they were raised on technology. I think they were raised in an era of, media bias and weird stuff, and then kind of seeking out truth and transparency. And I think they're hard workers. I think they weren't raised in, we had spent 40 years, 50 years probably, convincing the entire world that college was the key to the American dream. Like, if you want to succeed in life, you got to go to college. You got to get a degree. You got to do this. And while in some respects it's required, most people are waking up to the reality that it's never going to pay off for the majority of people. It's just like, I don't know what it would cost to go to college, but I imagine these days, 4-year degree at a public or private institution that's major is probably what, $500,000 investment by the time you get in?
Probably. I just paid for 2 kids. My daughter graduated, and it was definitely in the 6 figures, and my son decided to go to work, and he decided that college wasn't for him, and he went to work. He works for both of my companies, full time. He's so into it, and he's a Gen Zer for sure. He's 24 years old, and he's right into that demographic, and he wanted to get his hands dirty and go to work right away. and my daughter did as well. She worked all through college, and really had that work ethic, and is out there doing her thing as well. And I'm seeing it a lot. When we started Billy Go, I started Billy Go because I wanted to build some technology. And the nice thing about it is, we have Gen Z technicians and Gen Z people in the office, and they're the ones helping us develop this software. They're the ones telling us, if you're going to get people to use your software in the future, you've got to have a modern technology that is easy for them to navigate and help those people be successful quicker than they would, with just normal software that doesn't really help you. And so we got to think about how we build software even. I mean, we got to think about how we're going to retool our businesses to operate with these new workers that are coming into the workforce. Like I said earlier, I mean, majority of my company is Gen Z, at Billy Go and definitely at, at Sarah, because that, there's all computers, right? And I'd be honest with you, I'm the first one to tell you, I didn't have any faith in this generation. I didn't think they were workers. I think
that's a natural tendency. I think that's just kind of, it's like, I know that I'm sure that the generations before us, the greatest generation, the ones that fought the wars and walked to school in the snow, uphill both ways, like there's just that tendency that I'm tougher, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, all right, well, I think we just got to wake up to the reality. It's different. Generations are different. And in this generation, I think they're going to be smarter. I think they're going to be, again, the transparency thing is going to be a huge one for Gen Z. I think, we got to modify the workplace to meet some of the needs of Gen Z. Mm-hmm. They grew up in COVID. They're, looking for remote opportunities. They're, there's other things than a traditional structure that they're probably looking for, but they bring a lot of value that, and skills that maybe somebody my age doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I was just sitting here thinking while you were talking, and I don't think that we have a single technician out in the field over the age of 45. Not anyone in the field at all. I didn't even realize that till I started thinking about it. And this conversation came up today that we needed to talk about this, because that's what I see applying for jobs, and they're doing it online. They don't even, they don't even come in anymore. Everything to them is digital. Yeah. You better get rid of the paper.
Yeah.
It's just changing fast. And they're not going to put up with that. They're going to go follow technology. Who's got the, what companies are set up so they can be successful, because they don't want to wait. They don't have a wait mentality. That's one of the things we were always taught. Get in there, put your time in. Over time, you're going to be successful. All these things are going to happen. This generation, they want it today. They want everything today. They're in an instant gratification lifestyle. They're used to getting what they want. Press a button, things happen. They want to learn. They get on YouTube and they learn how to become a plumber. They learn how to fix air conditioners. They learn all of these things. And, we're out there preaching, as the older generation that is out there preaching, if you're going to be a good technician, you got to put in the time, and we'll teach you. And in over a couple of years, you can be a lead tech. Well, that's not going to work anymore. It's like, well, I watched YouTube last night and I found out how to fix this particular thing, and I'm ready to go fix it. And if I get stuck, I'm going to jump on there and fix it. I'm going to jump on YouTube, and I'm going to be able to take care of the situation. And the other thing about them that I've noticed about Gen Z is they can communicate better. They are very good communicators, even though they're more digital. They're very good communicators, and I think that's a big plus, because our 20-year-olds, there's nothing uncommon for a 20-year-old person to be making $250K here in that ballpark, and more in some cases.
Well, I think they see it. I think they see opportunity that we didn't see. I mean, I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you. I know YouTube wasn't around when you were a kid. I don't even know if they had, I'm sure they had computers at some point, but I mean, YouTube,
Abacus.
was not, I don't even know when YouTube, but I was certainly already in the workplace when YouTube became a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand it, didn't have any interest in it. Now it's on every TV, and like who doesn't use some form of YouTube, right? But people in that generation started seeing these young people building YouTube channels and becoming social influencers and making hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases as children, reviewing toys. So yeah, the expectations are going to be a little bit different than when you and I were their age, right? I mean, I think they're in many ways more entrepreneurial and enterprising than we are. They're just kind of naturally built that way.
I remember.
So hey, I don't think that the old. You remember what?
I have a moment where I remember something. You always call me old, so you better let me talk while I still have it, right? Oh, wait a minute, I lost it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So I remember, my son, like I said a minute ago, he was 24. He's 24 years old, and I remember when he was like 8 to 12. And I'm like, son, you need to go out and work. You need to get off of that video game. You need to do some stuff. And he goes, well, Dad, I am working. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm really good at this game. And I show people how to get through these certain parts of this game. I think it was Minecraft or something like that. And he had already set up an account where he got money to distribute these videos that showed them how to get through these particular situations in this game. And he was already making money, and he was never leaving his bedroom. And that was so foreign to me. That was a concept I completely didn't see coming. And, fast forward, 12 years now, he's 24 years old, and he's doing the same thing. He's helping us build a Billy Go in a way that will conform to, the new way of thinking, the Gen Zers, if you will, that are very active in our business. In fact, we have female Gen Zers that are, plumbers. We have, 20-something-year-old young, 23, 24, 25-year-old female plumbers at the company now. I didn't see that coming either. And I love that. That's a marketing dream, to be honest with you, because people don't expect that.
Well, today they don't. They don't. I think, a few years down the line, they will. And again, it's just a different culture, different world for Gen Z. I mean, I think everything new is old again. No, everything new is old again, right? So back in the 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, the trades were like a multi-generational thing. It was like a point of pride to, have the skills passed down and be a third generation plumber. And then when this whole narrative about the key to successful and happy life was college entered, it became blue collar work was shoved down in favor of, white collar work and a focus. And now it's like it became a dirty job. And then, if you did it, if you didn't have anything else to do, you couldn't go to college. Right. And now I think that has shifted back to, hey, college is dumb. I mean, you look at college, and again, I got master's degree. I did a lot of school, and, hopefully I put some of it to use along the way and it wasn't a massive waste, but, I think the world looks, this generation looks at university education as kind of absurd. It's like, why would you pay that amount of money, get yourself in that amount of debt, waste 4 years, 4 of the best earning years of your life, where you could be building a career, doing something. And most of the enterprising people, if they're in college, hopefully they have a side hustle already. But, you're looking at the protests that are going on, and there's like a backlash. It's almost like it's almost like a specific effort against that's anti-college going on right now.
It definitely is. I mean, this, maybe it's on topic or whatever. We'll decide. We'll let the audience decide. But but it's like forgiving these college loans. The truth of it should be the colleges should be on the hook for these loans if they're going to the college. So the college has no skin in the game whatsoever. They've been paid 100%. And that's where it's wrong. And they get paid all the money as soon as you go, and the government, puts this contract on you for life, it's dead or alive. You're going to pay this back. And that is a messed up concept in itself. and they just saw it as a money grab, and so therefore the trades suffered because there was more money in getting kids to go to college than there was to putting kids in the trades. And now we have this problem where there's just not enough people in the trades, and now we got to swing it back around. And I see that this is happening quite often, and more and more every day. Like you said, these protests that are going on. I'm not going to get involved in all that while they're protesting, but the whole idea about, they're railing against the school. In this situation, these protests, they have a subject matter that they're talking about, but yet it's directed at the school. And so, it's interesting times. And of course, we know in the 60s and 70s, all these same things were still happening. This is nothing new. But I do see a shift back to being blue collar, being in the trades. I think that's a very important, discussion that we're having today, that the future is actually bright. We have a severe shortage. The shortage is, over the last 20, 25 years has not improved. And I think we may have a chance to improve it. Using technology so we get more work out of each person would be, the first step, which is what we're working on. Work smarter, not harder is the new mentality, and getting these things done that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. And that's what it's all about. And I'm just glad that I have enough foresight at my age to see that this shift was coming and started jumping in on the shift of the technology being the reason why we can move forward in the near future and quickly. And so they're going to have expectations. So let's talk about that. What is it going to take to get these folks to work for you and not for someone else? Well, how are you going to get in on this gold rush of new talent that's coming in, that's very educated, that can communicate, that can learn fast, have a great work ethic? How do you get a hold of those folks? How do you get them to work for you?
Number one, let's stop making it so difficult for them to come to work for us. Right.
Bingo.
It's like, this is some, again, slight tangent, but this is something that's always bugged me because I've been in the space for not as long as you have, but long enough now. And it's always been this.
If you wouldn't have been in school all that time, it could be the same number.
I can't grow because I can't get people, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but it's like, here's the deal with it. I've worked at big companies, at large companies. I've ran really large companies. And the one thing that I've never had a problem with was getting people, right? Was finding people. And I said, but it was always a super, priority for me. Here's what I think the real problem is. The majority of the businesses in the space are very unsophisticated in the recruiting efforts. They make people jump through hoops to find them. They'll, they think recruiting is putting an ad in the, out on Indeed or Monster or something, and then, having to sift through resumes, and then, nobody's going to, it's like, okay, you got to take a multi-pronged approach. You got to be, recruiting is going to be a constant thing. There are professional recruiting organizations, so you can go out and hire. You got to have connections with the trade schools. You got to have connections with all the suppliers. You got to just network your way into recruiting sometimes. But then when you put the ads out there, make it easy to contact the business. Like a lot of people don't, we have AI bots, AI programs now that will go out and search for candidates that fit certain job descriptions. They'll go out in social media and find people. They'll contact them. They'll have interactive conversations. They'll do 2 levels of interviews before they ever get set to the desk of, whatever manager you want to get sent to follow up and show up for the interview. There are things that you can do from a technology perspective, but can't find good help is all about, you're just unsophisticated. And I hate that because everybody's probably said it, but I'm here to tell you right now, if you have ever used the words, I can't find good help, and you haven't done any of the things that I just said off the top of my head, and that's just the beginning of the laundry list of recruiting and hiring, you just don't know what you're doing.
Period. You just don't know what you're doing, or you don't want to put in the effort. It's all about the effort. And we always are looking. We never, even when we don't need anyone, we are looking, and we are always hiring. No matter what, we will find work. You bring me a person, I'm going to bring you more calls. It's always looking to upgrade, always looking to better the company, always looking to better everyone in the company. It is something that we never, ever, ever stop doing. And therefore we have people sitting, out front, waiting to be talk to someone every day. It's every day. We're a brand new company. We're, 6 years old this year. We don't have the reputation. We're not on TV, so they're not seeing us on TV. I don't think they watch TV anyway, so I don't think marketing on TV is that big of a deal anymore anyway. So we're out there talking to them on social media. That's where they live. Talking about the trades. Billy Go spends a lot of time not literally talking about come work for us, but showing the lifestyle. Our marketing is a lifestyle that we build. That's what we use Tim for. Tim's the producer of this show. He's over there. He's hiding behind this screen here. And his job is to show a lifestyle that we have. What's this lifestyle that would make someone excited about coming to work here? And that's what he does. He's out in the field and he's showing all the cool stuff everybody's getting to do. And we make it clear that every day is a different day. You don't sit in a cubicle and do the same thing. You're out there doing something different every day. And so when we get a unique job or something, he's out there filming that thing and putting a spin on it in a way that makes it super exciting. And then they just keep walking in the door. And we don't even ask them to come walk in the door. We're just showing them a lifestyle. And so if you're listening to this, I'm giving you a gold nugget right now on how to get people in the door. You got to build a lifestyle. You got to build a culture, and you got to build a lifestyle that makes people want to come and work for you. And it's got to look fun. And if it looks fun, they're going to come and do it, and they're going to come and learn it, because this Generation Z, loves to learn. And they want to learn on the job. They want to learn like on something right in front of them. And they want to advance. I mean, we bring these kids in delivering parts, and they're running their own truck in 12 months. I mean, that's how aggressive they are.
I mean, that's it. Like I feel like whoever figures out, and we're getting closer and closer. But we just talked about this at our partner meeting. Like, if we can get to a point where we can take somebody that's green off the streets with the right skill set, attitude, etc., and then within a week get them in a truck, just running and talking to customers and figuring out how to turn a call over and letting a supervisor come follow behind as a form of training. If we can get a point, like, that's a profitable venture right there. I don't think that it with the technology available today, with the aptitude of learning, like, there's no reason it takes you 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks to find somebody, train them, spend all this money and figure out if they're going to work or like the job. Right. I think, if you can get structured, use some sort of learning management center and, show them how to use the technology, which is inherent to them. It's maybe not inherent to somebody that might be 50 years old today that's in the field. So the technology piece may take a little bit longer. Right. But to Gen Z, it's pretty intuitive. So if you can figure out a way to get them in there, get them in front of people, see, just a day in the life, I think you'll figure out really quickly who's going to be successful, who's not. And I think that's going to win the day.
I think so as well. And we can end this shortage. Yeah. It just got to open your minds up to the new way of getting people. And, let's get away from hiring from one company to the next, and these guys going back and forth or around and around, or all the stuff that happens. There's a limited pool, and that was the pool we pull from. Everyone's pulled from for many, many years. And we stopped doing that 6 years ago. We started bringing in people with zero experience and bringing them up to speed. And in Texas, it's a little different. I can't get a kid off the street in a week and have him running a plumbing call. I can have him selling, but I can't have him turning wrenches, right? And so we can do that. Or, in an air conditioning business, we can get him a license pretty quickly and get him trained up to not be dangerous. The last thing you want to do is pull a kid in here after next year and give them some flammable Freon to go do something with. We got that in that coming here in about 9 months or 7 months, whatever it is from today. So now we got all that we got to deal with, the safety of catching stuff on fire. So it's going to take more training here pretty soon. But I'm really high on this group of kids coming up and young adults, if you will, that I'm just very blown away by the work ethic. I think, the startup world is a big reason why people have that work ethic, because that is a very high intense work ethic world. And also what's good about or different about this generation is, they're connected via phone, via text, via, video, Zoom, all these different things that they are connected. And we, unfortunately the side effect is we're working longer and longer hours because we can never step away, right? Like when I would leave the office 20 years ago, there was no way to get a hold of me. I was just gone for the rest of the day. And, it doesn't work like that anymore. I'm getting messages all through the night. And but I don't get up and answer them. I have my boundaries, but it just doesn't stop because I've got people on the West Coast. I've got people on the East Coast. I got people, on the other side of the planet.
All over,
yeah, right? And so everybody's working, and we're communicating. But I'm so pumped on what's happening. We're experiencing it ourselves, so I'm seeing it every day, and it just amazes me how many people are really serious about doing this. And when we're out talking, like when we do festivals, we do a lot of marketing at festivals, because then you have a captured audience there, and you have people that are homeowners. They're looking for stuff for their homes and stuff at these outdoor festivals and stuff like that we go to. And, it's inevitable that when we talk to these parents, they're asking, are y'all hiring? My son needs a job, or my daughter needs a job, and they want to do this. They don't want to go to college. They're wanting to do things like this. We get those questions all the time from parents wanting us to give them an opportunity to come in and go to work for us. And we're like, send them over. We'll talk to them. We'll see if there's something we can do with them. And if they're the right fit, there's probably a good chance we're going to give them an opportunity. And so that's how we recruit. And if we didn't do that, let's talk about that. We wouldn't be experiencing the growth that we're experiencing. I don't know what's going out there, Landon. Maybe you could say, more about what's happening in the industry. But Billy Go just wrapped up April at 51% growth. And that's on top of 40% growth in 2023 in April. And so it's not like we went backwards and then we're up 51% on an off year. We've never gone backwards. We've never had a down month at all. In fact, this April in Dallas-Fort Worth, without any real weather to speak of, lots of rain. I think it's raining all over the place. We had our best month we've ever had in our history. And so how are we getting our best months before the summer's even here? It's just amazing me that we're in this recession that I keep hearing about, but yet our phones are ringing off the wall, and we're bringing in these new people to help us build this business. And I think we're winning because we are proactive in bringing in a lot of Gen Zers, all during this time. We didn't stop hiring when we heard about a recession and some people were, slow. We talked to our vendors and they were off 30-40% last year. We kept hiring. Yeah. We kept growing, and it just kept going. And here we are having 50% months. And at the size company that we are, a 50% month is a pretty big number. There's a lot going on with that. And so,
at our shareholder meeting last week, we went through some of this. We overlaid the data, and you see this unitary shipment data from organizations like AHRI track that for unitary shipments of air conditioning systems, water heaters. They track shipments of, which some of them are down, some of them are actually up. But overall, if you look at all serialized equipment shipped on an annualized basis that's tracked, it looks like it's down about 16% on the year, right? And a lot of our installation volume is correspondingly down, but revenue, profits, and everything are going the opposite way because we shifted, right? We shifted the dynamic of, okay, well, this is happening right now. You've got people that maybe had to pull forward, or maybe it's a cyclical thing, or for whatever reason economically, people just aren't buying things the same way they were buying them before. So you have to shift the model. You have to change the service model. You got to change the sales model. You got to figure out, maybe we need to start looking at airflow or other things that might be what is needed when there's no demand calls, right, that are coming in, or the limited demand calls. We have to maximize those things. We have to have the data. We got to have the technology in order to like really deliver what is needed so that we don't fall backwards. I think that's where everybody's failing. Everybody that's sold to PE and these PE groups that are, seeing this rapid decline, it's like, well, the model is we buy you, we run your playbook, we go out and acquire other people. You choose to run the playbook, but they're just running the same playbook over and over and over again. But the situation has changed and they haven't adapted because they don't know how.
That's right. That's where the operator comes in, right? And now the operators are starting to walk away a little bit in the PE world, and now the bankers are running it. And, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a loud crash, though, in some instances. But
you got to shift.
You got to shift.
And the shift is the same thing with Gen Z, right? You got to shift the workplace environment for them. You got to shift how you're recruiting. You got to shift what your benefits are. It's no longer the traditional, I need healthcare and I need this. And like Gen Z, half of them probably never want to own a home in their life. Like the mentality is different, right? They may think it's not anything that's ever achievable because it's been overinflated, right? So, you have to understand what motivates them, and you have to shift. It's like if you have to shift your strategy for how to for service and sales to adapt to the changing customer needs, you got to shift your recruiting and retention and all those HR strategies around the new shifting demographic of technician. And so Gen Z is looking for different stuff. So here's one of the things that I think technology and what we've got today, like they want to learn, they want to know. So in terms of transparency, they want to know what's happening in the business. They want to know where the business is going. They want to know how they're performing. They want to understand their KPIs. They want to understand what growth looks like to them. They want to understand what's happening in your life. They're trying to figure out everything. Yep. And so the more open that you can be and transparent you can be, the happier they're going to be.
You're going to have to get better technology, period. You're going to have to make it to where they'll use it, because they're not going to stick around if it's old and cumbersome and requires lots of steps.
We got to adapt.
I mean, you got to make it easy. You got to make it intuitive, and that's what's going to win the day for sure with this generation. And I'm telling you, over the next 3 years, you will have more Gen Zers than you have old school in the next 3 to 5 years if you're getting ready for them now. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck the other way around with an aging group of people that, as we know, we all slow down as we get older, and you're going to be caught behind the 8 ball when the younger generation is ready to come in. And I'm telling you what, this younger generation may come in sweeping the floors in a warehouse, but their aspirations is to own your company. They're not.
And sometimes you got to know, again, it's not this earn your stripes thing, this mentality that we've always had. It's like, sometimes you just got to know when to get out of their way and let them do it.
And that's why the transparency has to be there.
I may not be as good as you as X, Y, and Z. You go do it. You go refine it. Like, let's document what you're doing. Let's take on your strategy. Let's quantify it, see if that works. And you got to be open to do that.
You're so right. We have got to change the way we go to market, period. When it comes to hiring and teaching, you've got to open it up. You've got to be completely transparent, because they want to know these things. They're going to want to own their businesses at some point. This Gen Z population is not messing around. They want to go to the top. They want to learn a trade. They want to get involved and learn every aspect of the business. And then they have aspirations to be business owners at some point as well. They may not want to own a home, but they do want to control their destiny. And they want to work when they want to work. They want to use technology to take the load off of them. And if you're not evolving with technology, you're not going to stay up to speed with them. And I think that's why we are able to grow so quickly, is because we are fully adapting our technology to handle this younger generation and make it simple. Technology does not have to be hard. And when you make it to where they can use it and prosper from it and learn from it and be transparent, they're going to excel for you. One of the things we did early on is we put a leadership board on all the tech apps, so the techs know where they are. There's transparency. They know where all the other techs are. Not what they're doing, but what their sales are, what their close rates are, what their membership sales rates, and things that are important to the business. Right? If you put those out there and you make them front and center every day after every call, and you're always measuring it, and tell them why you're measuring it and why it's important. When we switch from the top revenue guy being the most important guy and switch from that mentality and switch to the mentality that the highest efficient technicians, the most efficient technicians were more, not more important, but our focus. And we worked on everyone's efficiency and stopped working on or judging our workforce by their revenue, and actually started working on the efficiency side of it, how good they do each job, no matter what the job is, because it doesn't matter if it's a $700 job or a $7,000 job. If you're super efficient at either one, you made your margin, and it's all about making your margin. And the revenue will just come because you're making the margin. It just comes with it. And when we stop chasing the revenue and giving all of our support, everybody, give that to Joe Bob, he's the top guy, blah, 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 blah. We started looking, holistically at more KPIs, if you will, efficiency KPIs. We actually elevated everyone. And so we're just completing month 4. And I have 12, I think we have 18 technicians now, and 11 of those 18 are tracking to $2+ million already if you annualize where they are. And, some in the 3 millions. And we're talking about technicians here. I don't have salesmen. I don't have sales force here. No comfort advisors. These are technicians that are doing it all. We don't flip. We don't do any of that stuff. We work on being efficient at what we're doing. And we've created a culture of, very high net worth people in the field, very high, well into the 6 figures. And that's why our hallway is always full of people. I want to work here. And it's because we are ahead of the curve. We've already evolved, and we continue to evolve. And that's what we're trying to talk about here today is we have just got to move forward. Gosh darn, folks, we cannot continue to run our businesses the way we've been running them. And I don't care what pain you put yourself through. Change is hard, but change is necessary. You have to do it, or you're going to get left behind. And then that's worse than any change you could have endured a very short term in change.
Evolution, whatever you want to call it, it's constant. It's required in everything in life. And, the more you get to get used to that, the better and easier your life is going to be, because you're just going to torture yourself otherwise. Here's the other thing I wanted to talk about there, though. Like, you can't just assume. You can't assume that, what these people want, what anybody wants, right? You can't just assume what motivates employees. Things that might motivate you may not motivate them, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't get caught with your blinders off. You can't get irritated if they're not like you, right? So, I get it. The world would be way better off if there were more than me. I get it. But if you're assuming, like what they want, you're going to fail, right? So here's what I would suggest. Talking about radical transparency, like, let's just ask them, like, do you know what your team members want? If you don't know what your team members want, how can you know that you're providing it to them, and that they're happy and going to stay, right? Or going to succeed? Like how many people actually ask their employees, like, what do you get up out of bed for every day? What's meaningful to you? Why do you choose to work here when you can choose to work anywhere? That's the one thing I can't figure out why the PE firms that are coming in don't do. They don't make any effort to get to know these people, and I wonder why they're all just jumping out the back door later on. So, like, what's the motivation to come to work for these folks? It could be completely different than you and I think, and it probably is.
It is.
So
it's got to be
number
different.
one, just ask, and then build something around that.
Yep.
It's like our greatest privilege that we have as owners. Our greatest privilege is that we're a conduit to fulfilling other people's dreams, and if we can fulfill those dreams and make that, while we're doing that, make it a mutually beneficial thing, the business wins, they win, they're happy, right? But until you figure out what that is, you can't be a very effective conduit to that dream.
It could be as easy as a really good cappuccino machine. It's not always money. It could be that. It's just things, and you got to ask, and you got to figure it out. It could be as easy as, we have, these masseuse come in that have these chairs. You just lean over the chair and you get your back rubbed.
Where are you going with this, Billy? Where are you going with this, Billy?
Where I'm going with it is
you went from Gen Z to masseuse has been and people over in chairs. That Bill, I gotta check this off.
This is great. Yeah, it does sound bad now that you repeat it. But the point is,
proceed.
We asked, right? We asked, what could we do? What would make you happy? And the ladies in the office said, well, it would be nice to, relieve some of the stress in my neck, after a busy day of, running this business or whatever. And we do that. Or they go to dinner as a group or bowling. We just ask. And one thing we don't try to do is force them to do big group things if they want to be home with their family. So that a lot of folks just want to go home and be with their family. I mean, you just gotta be aware of what's going on and tailor your business around it. We just can't be the same most stringent plumbing, HVAC, electrical business that we've been in the past. We just can't do it like that anymore. If we're going to grow and we're going to be something that customers are going to want to be a part of, and pick you as a company, you've got to stand out, and you're going to stand out with these new people that are coming into the trades. And so,
yeah, I think you got to gamify their experience a little bit too, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
So you're talking about KPIs and then the technology, you're talking about your son and making money on the Minecraft because he was great at Minecraft, right? I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe we got to gamify the experience of being a technician in our business now.
Well, that's exactly what we've been doing. That's the whole idea behind building Sarah through Billy Go, is we gamified it. They literally have the keys to the kingdom on what we build. We learn out in the field of what we need to do, and that's the beauty of it. And how we attract these people is every aspect of the business where we got technology touching it, right? And so we learn from them, and they're very involved in that, and they love that aspect of it. And that's what gets them here, be honest with you, because we know they want that gamification. It's a great subject you brought up. Gosh, I'm glad you waited till an hour.
An hour in, I threw out a good thought. An hour in,
takes you a while to warm up.
It's like, oh, you flooded a basement. Oh, you fell through a ceiling. Oh, you ended this level, and now you're going back to level 2 again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. And that's right. And that's gamification in the new world, right? But that's exactly what we do here. That's why this is so much fun for me every day, is we get to literally see what works and what doesn't work, and they tell us what works and what they would like. And, it's a fun way to build businesses, because our company is nothing like the standard HVAC plumbing company. It's just not, because of the circumstances that we have. We're doing things a lot different, and it makes it actually fun to come to work. It's just not, that grind of a dingy shop, dirty, it's a good time. Let's come to work and let's create. We're creating things every day at work. And I think that's what brings in all the employees and why the company's growing so fast. I mean, if I was to go out and do a bunch of acquisitions, this thing would be, 100, 200 million right here in Dallas-Fort Worth in no time at all. But that's not what we're interested in doing. We want to organically grow to $100 million and see how fast we can do it organically by using innovations and learning from this new population of folks that are wanting to come into the industry. We're allowing them to dictate how we do this. And so, we're, when you're growing 50% in a down economy, 100 million is 3 years away for us, without any acquisitions. It's literally right there, and we can get there because we're, like you said, we gamified the whole business. And so we have people here that normally has never really been in the industry before. That's the majority of our customer, of our employee base. And that's cool.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, as much as a lot of people like to trash talk and make fun of other generations, I actually look, I could say that I was in the camp at one point. I'm like, oh man, all these people that are so lazy. This, coming into like the millennial generation, and they probably get a bad rap. I'm like super excited about Gen Z. I'm super excited about where this is all going. I mean, I'm expecting that my old school like rudimentary understanding of how the world works today, they're gonna take what I've got and they're gonna elevate it fivefold. And I'm just gonna be like, hey, just keep me along for the ride, man.
Yep.
Keep me along for the ride.
That's right. And I have to give credit to my kids because I spent time listening and talking to my kids all through their them being raised in our family, and they come up with stuff that made a lot of sense for me that I would have never seen. I wouldn't have thought of this the way they think of things. I mean, they're totally different. They didn't experience the stuff how I experienced stuff. We went out and we were outside all day. They weren't. They were more than most kids because we made sure we lived on land or something so they could experience that. That was important to me. But at the same time, working with my son every day, I get to learn stuff from his perspective. And we debrief every weekend. We hang out. He comes over. He already owns his own home. He's 24 years old. He wanted a home, so he's already went out and gotten one. And so he'll come over, at least once a week because he misses mom's cooking, right? I don't blame him. I would too if I didn't have it for a week. And we debrief and we talk about, these kind of things. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. And I go and I implement it. And that's what I like about this new generation and how they're ready to really do better.
Here's one that I heard this week that I think is pretty applicable. So I was talking to somebody looking at, finally had been in this multi-generation business and scale it to pretty significant degree. They're finally talking about maybe looking at exiting, and then finally getting some offers. And they're like, maybe we should talk about it after holding out for a long time. And so they get all the family together. The family's like, commenting, well, I know my smartest kid is the one that's in college right now. I said, well, why do you say that? He said, well, I asked the question, is this something we should do? What do you think? And everybody referred back to me. What makes you happy, Dad? What makes you happy? What makes you happy? What's going to help you enjoy your life more? And everybody says that. Then my college kid said, what's going to yield me the most money? Like, is if we keep the business and it's handed down to me, is that going to make me more in the long run? Or like by the time I get inherited after what we do, like, what's going to be best for me? And he was like, that's my smartest kid. And if I keep the business, she's running it.
There you go. There you go. That's right. And it's nothing better than having a family business sitting there waiting for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Just take it by the reins. Let's go. I love it. Well, hey y'all, with that, we run out of time. Hopefully, we gave you a lot of information here today and you've learned from it. We appreciate everyone that has subscribed. And of course, Landon's going to ask you to do that if this is your first time here in a few seconds. The show's growing, where our production's getting better and we're having more and more fun. As you can tell, I mean, we've been doing this now for, 3 or 4 years, and we laugh a lot when we talk about these things. And today was another one of those episodes where we're just having a great time and talking about reality and, life. And one of the things I want to say real quick is a saying I always tell people, and this is the same as in raising a family or running a business. The days are long, but the years are short. So let's get moving. And with that, Landon, what do you tell everybody?
Hey, if you enjoyed our content and you'd like to continue to see this fine content, make sure that you hit the like button, smash that as many times as you can smash that. That's completely not the right context of things to say, but hit the like button. Just hit the like button. And then maybe we'll become famous YouTubers.
Oh, yeah. That's an aspiration, isn't it?
You're never too. Billy, you're never too old to become a famous YouTuber. That's what everybody has to hit the like button, because we need Billy to be like the Colonel Sanders of YouTube. You know, you're never too old.
There you go. Never too old to be a YouTuber, infamous, influencer, all those things. Yeah. Now I'm starting to sound like a guru.
I'm telling you, you look like a guru today.
At least my beard's back.
I noticed. You're looking better now. You're looking better.
There you go.
Looking healthy.
Well, thanks everybody. Y'all enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.
No BS with Billy and Landon is produced and delivered to you by Sarah Systems. At Sarah Systems, we've created a better way to run your home service business and unlock unprecedented growth. Our field service software was designed by real home service professionals to help you save steps, charge for previously unbillable time, and win more business. But the true change requires more than software. Our live coaching helps you understand and control the aspects of your business that matter most. It's about time for a new era of service, and we're leading the way. If you're ready to join the hundreds of other contractors who've been able to increase profit margins more than 50% within 6 months, visit Sarah.tech today. That's Sarah, SERA.tech today.